Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with If I Could Choose Only One Work by, only one by Berlioz. It would have to be, and this is an interesting one because you guys have been tossing out Berliozias to me and suggestions, but no one, to my knowledge, has mentioned the work that is the obvious choice. The Damnation of Faust. Yes, it's the Damnation of Faust because it does everything Berlioz is supposed to do. It's got everything in it. I really am shocked that more of you didn't come out with that. I mean, you even mentioned the Requiem and Romeo and Juliet and the Grand Symphony Funèbre et Triomphale and the Symphonie Fantastique. A couple of you mentioned Les Troyens, which is absolutely a possibility because it's one of the greatest operas. I mean, it's one of the greatest of all operas, period. An amazing, amazing work. However, I chose The Damnation of Faust because it has one element in it that I really think is essential for Berlioz, and that's the demonic. You know, I mean, one of the characters is Satan, Mephistopheles. I mean, how can you not have Mephistopheles if you're talking Berlioz, because you've got like the Witches' Sabbath and Symphony Fantastique, you've got the orgy of brigands in Harold in Italy. I mean, the only thing you've got that's sort of like demonic in Les Troyens is maybe the royal hunt and whatever that thing is in Storm. That's kind of demonic crazy, and there are elements. I mean, there are elements, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I think that what the Germans called Schauerromantik, romantic horror, that Berlioz really did quite well, and that's an essential element of his style. So I wanted something that had that. It had to be big and grandiose because Berlioz is big and grandiose. And I mean, I just am shocked that so few of you, or none of you, mentioned The Damnation of Faust. It's got a couple of Berlioz's most famous instrumental movements or excerpts. You've got the minuet of the Sylphs or whatever the hell that thing is called. I don't even remember. And it's got the march, the Radetzky March, which is fantastic. You've got one of the most amazingly beautiful arias. I mean, amazingly beautiful arias of the history of humanity. The King of Toul aria that Marguerite sings with the solo viola. Oh my, it's a Siciliano. It's just so beautiful. Oh my God, I just love it. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's got a great story. You've got the Song of the Flea. You've got Bander and the students doing their whack out fugue in the pub, and you've got Mephistopheles running around, and then oh my goodness, you get the ride to the abyss. It's a ride, right? With the oboe going ya da 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 ya da 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 do do do, and they go over the cliff and into pandemonium crash, where you've got this insane, male chorus in a completely fictitious language that's supposed to be the language of hell, which it isn't, which nobody does nastily enough unless Igor Markevich is conducting it. I mean, really, it drives me crazy to hear these like, English choirs do it, where they're going, Hos Mephisto, Berandor, you. No, it's like, Has Mephisto. You're supposed to like rough it up a little bit. That's what Markevich gets his choir to do. And it sounds wonderful when it's done with the requisite snap and snarl and bite. And then, of course, you have the lovely, redemption thing at the end. And it's just amazing. I think one of the reasons people have always been a little down on The Damnation of Faust is because Berlioz doesn't really follow the story. Just like in Romeo and Juliet, and he wrote a preface about that too. He said, "I know you're all going to be upset with me because, Faust gets damned and Marguerite gets saved, and it's not quite the way Goethe wrote it, but Berlioz's attitude to that was always, who gives a damn? I'm going to do what's musically effective. to hell with the plot line that I was given originally," and that is the smart way to handle it. It really, really is. And so I know. Besides Mephisto and the god Cancrozans is going to destroy all of classical music but one work per composer. He and Mephisto are friends. I have to acknowledge that. I mean, I am playing a bit of politics here, because I do not want to get on Cancrozan's bad side by dissing one of his best buds. So this way, he gets to tell Mephisto that, you got the respect you deserved, and, we're giving him a little love here. And so perhaps that too might be a reason to plead for the other demonic and hellish aspects of Berlioz's oeuvre and preserve more of that and everything else. But I just think the Damnation of Faust gives us everything by Berlioz that we need to get. Huge orchestra, crazy orchestration, fabulous special effects, gorgeous melodies, choruses, arias, songs. You name it, it's all there. So that's the pick. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.